For those of you who do not know Dr. Angela Jones, Dr. Angela Jones has been a wonderful. She's all over. You Google her just like you Google Nicole, you're gonna see her everywhere. Fox, Isaiah. She's on all of the social media sites, giving wisdom about marriage, sex, sex. She's talking about sex, y'all. Okay, she's talking about sex. But sex as you get older, and I'm just gonna start with this. I've had sex a few times, like 3. but so the thing is, sex change. Sex is at one time of life it was just sex, and this is because we're being open and honest and transparent. At one time it was just about sex, but as life changes, sex is about intimacy, right? Like sex changes, and intimacy is more important than I've never been a one night stand type of person, but no judgment to you all who do. But that was okay because you didn't need the intimacy. But as you get older and your demands and your where you are in life changes, now you're like, hey, I need intimacy. I need things. So I just had to just start with that because I am super excited about this. You see, she on the stage by herself, y'all, with just me. You are. She thought it was gonna be a panel. I tricked you. It's just me. But I need you right here, right now, because this is going to be great. Okay. And let me tell you why it's going to be great. Come on down, Dr. Angela Jones. It's a little lukewarm. There you go. So we're gonna have you here, and I'm gonna get seated. But this is an exciting topic. My first podcast episode was called "From the Boardroom to the Bedroom." My guest was Jacqueline Minimal Wilson, and she's a nonprofit CEO. And so we talked about the roles of being these, wonderful, high achieving women in our professional world, and having to transition our life to kind of submissive, maybe not submissive, or should we be submissive roles when we get back to the household? And sometimes if we're not submissive, the impact that takes on the marriage, the intimacy, and just also goal planning. So I'm gonna just use that and we're gonna segue into all those wonderful topics that were emailed. But have a seat, my love. So we're going to go here. So first, I want to thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited. So I met Dr. Angela Jones at the Marriage and Real Estate Conference that was hosted by the Sheltons of Park Street Homes. So when we were there, we were goal planning. So we were goal planning. Like we had our little sheets. I had my sheet. Justin had his sheet. He was like, do your 5-year plan. Do your 5-year plan. I was like, oh, this is good. Travel. South of France. I told you, I've been manifesting this South of France. I'm going to do it. Okay. Like I am ready for it. So I've been manifesting this in my life. So I was just like, okay, we both wanted to travel. We wanted to own real estate. We wanted to do all these things. And I was like, we want the same thing. And then it was a trick question that came next. The trick question was, how in the steps do you plan to make these things happen? And our little sheet it just fell apart. It just fell apart. And so we talked about how we love each other, we care for each other, but we're just different people. So so with all that being said, the last episode, that speech, the impact that your relationship has on building your legacy with your family, especially one with, I'm telling you, you could be here for 2 days, but we're not. We're going to have you here for 20 minutes, 28 and 35 seconds. Okay. And we're going to have that. But so the first one is the impact that the communication and building that legacy, and maybe some tips or some. We're gonna start. Let me hold up. It's a lot there. Let me dissect this real quick. What have you seen that is preventing couples from building their legacies together? Let's start there. It's a lot.
It's communication, and I'm not going to leave you just with the word communication because you always hear about that. The relationship you pick for your life is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Who you decide to partner up with, who you decide to share your legacy with, your vision with, because we come in as individuals and we have our goals and our ideas and whatever we want to do, south of France, right? And then we meet someone and we realize this is a whole nother dynamic, a whole nother person. And some of our stuff, it doesn't match up. And how do we accomplish two individual people, two lives, two visions, and we try to put it together and live it abundantly. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like we can do things together, but doing it abundantly. And it is really about believing in the person that you're with. If you believe in their vision, believing in who they are, right? People can talk a big talk, right? I could say look at the White House. People can talk a big talk, but you want to make sure that you can believe in what they're talking about. Do I believe you? And I don't think a lot of people talk about that. We talk about trust, right? Trust is a huge thing. And I think it's a dynamic thing that continues to grow. And it goes like this in a relationship. But do I believe you? It's something different. It actually feels different when you actually say that. Do I trust my husband? Yes. Do I believe him when he says fill in the blank? So the legacy that you guys want to leave, if you want to travel and you find someone who doesn't want to travel, you want to find someone who says, I believe in your dream and I want to help you get there. That's all you need. They don't have to be exactly what's the point of getting someone that's exactly like you anyway? Right? That's extremely boring. You want someone who's like, I'm just excited for you. I believe in you. And I think that is an element that a lot of people don't talk about, is about the belief. You have a dream. I believe in your dream. I believe in you. That's under the umbrella of trust, but it's not fully about trust.
So let's speak about trust and believing. So I've never heard the believing part. I've heard the break of trust. Like,
think about it. We could believe in politicians.
Yeah.
We believe certain, not really, but if you know, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. You have to believe in what the person is saying. I could watch a show and okay, I believe that story. You watch something in the courtroom or something legal. I believe her. What makes you don't trust her, but you believe her, and there's a reason why you believe her. You have this emotional, empathic thing in all of us that connects, and it's like, I believe you. That's beautiful, and I have to do that every day in my practice, right? Absolutely. When my clients come in, they don't trust me, and I don't trust them, but I have to believe them,
and they have to believe you. Yeah, if they keep paying for you, they believe you. But no. So what happens when that trust is broken? Like, I've seen couples. Where I'm at in my life, 40s, great and beautiful and elegant. But what I've seen is that I've seen trust be broken in relationships, and people get through it and get over it. They might not forget, but the people don't be forgetting. Don't forget nothing. But at the same, I'm sorry. But what are the steps to forgiving where you can move past? Is it different for everybody? Is it a textbook we could buy that helps with how do we, regain trust in relationships? Because you need trust to be intimate. Like, where my husband at? It's been times, and like I said, we are family in this room, that I have been pissed, like mad as hell, just upset. And no, you're not getting this because this is attached to my emotions and I'm mad. It's like I think it's actually like a nerve that's attached to my emotions. Yeah. So if it's my emotions, it's not right. It's not working. Attached. Okay. It's all attached. Yes. So if that happens, how do we still maintain, the trust and the intimacy in our relationship relationships. How do we get past that? Give us some tips. Like, help us out.
Well, first, it's not when they like if they're gonna break your trust. It's literally about when.
Yeah, that's true too.
Your partner is going to break your trust at some level in your relationship. It is
On
guaranteed.
both sides.
Okay,
Yeah.
on both sides. All right, but we talking about our side right now.
We are.
You know, us here. This
are.
is our
Thank
side.
you. I love this space.
They're gonna do it. So I think you need to get out of the fairy tale that it's not gonna happen. They are going to break your trust. Okay. Now, how they break your trust, that's left for the for the story to go. And we try to figure out as much as we can at the beginning, you know, how much I can trust you, what type of character you have. But regardless, everyone is capable of everything. Ooh. And when you talk to me, in as a friend or in sessions or whatever, I'm the same here as I am there. Like I'm going to be real with you. Don't ever put anyone in a space where you're like, they will never do that. People have been desperate enough to do whatever it takes to make either themselves feel good or do something. It's human nature. It's called survival, right? So it is about when will they break your trust and how are you going to handle that? And you think you know what you're going to be able to handle until it actually happens to you. Okay. I've been married for 16 years and we have been through everything. And you could have told me all year, like before I got married, I'm like, if he ever does this, I am out of there. If he ever does this, I am out of there.
I'm gone,
ain't
girl.
no way.
I'm
gonna, and then here I am.
Here I am.
Still here.
Still here.
We still together.
Hallelujah.
You know, because you just never, honestly, you just never know what you are able to process through. Now you were talking about forgiveness. There's a lot of books on forgiveness. I'm not saying those books are wrong. They can give you some great tips. When it comes to building trust again, it is about consistency. It is about a pattern and a long-standing pattern. I mean, how many times have you said, well, let's see how long this lasts?
I've never said that.
Never. I know you didn't.
I know. But everybody else, all my friends say that.
Everybody else, but you.
I know. I never. Said
I know, not
that
you though.
Never.
Not her.
Not me.
You know. Let's see how this lasts. And it's, you know, it is about consistent behavior.
Yes,
absolutely. And that, building, you know, to forgive. So that's how you know they've changed. But to forgive, as they say, is divine. And I know that makes it sound pretty, but it's literally one of the hardest things to ever do is to fully forgive. And it is not about forgetting. It is honestly, I think a lot of forgiveness is about understanding the human in people. You know, people, we're human. We mess up, right? Was this an error in judgment one time, or is this a character flaw? That's another thing you have to think about. Is this a character issue, or is this like I messed up this time. And it was this time thing. And I know that's kind of hard when you're in it and you're the one who is the other partner that's having to deal with it. You really can't, is this a character flaw? I don't know, you know, but that's usually to me, what helps people with forgiveness is understanding who they're dealing with. So, forgiveness is what a lot of people come to me for. And forgiving themselves, forgiving other people, forgiving their parents, forgiving all types of people.
I think a lot of times too, we need permission. And I think, you know, a lot of times we know who we are, we know what we do, we know our flaws, we know everybody around us. And like you said, a lot of times we know our people, spouses, children, parents. And I think we need permission from people like you to let us know that, like, it's okay to process it.
It's okay to, but I'm never, as a therapist, I'm never going to tell you to forgive and forget. I'm going to help you forgive if that is what you desire. Mm-hmm. But if you come to me and you angry right now, let's do that. You know, we here, let's do that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you need to forgive him. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'll meet you where you are and I'm going to guide you in that space that you are now. You know, if you ask me, should I forgive him? I'm going to say, what you think? And I know people hate when I do that, when I throw it back at you, but because this is not my journey, you see me for 45 minutes to an hour every 2 weeks, you live the rest of your life. So I am not there with you dealing with the consequences of either forgiving or not forgiving. I also think forgiveness, if it's about like, what does it say about me if I forgive this person? And that is, I think, especially nowadays with social media, everything is so out there as well. Like, what does it say about me as a person if I forgive this person after they did something to me? And maybe other people know and maybe other people don't know. But it's a big thing. Like, can I look at myself in the mirror and be like, I don't even know who this person is? That's one of the hardest things, is when you forgive someone, a friend, she betrayed you. And what does that say about me? That I forgave her. Right. And that is, I think, what we really have a problem. It's a hard thing. I mean, I deal with it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I think everyone has had to deal with it at one point.
Especially like you stated, it's become more social.
Yeah.
And we put our business out there in the streets. And when our business is out there in the streets, it gives people the opportunity. So we were on a reality TV show.
Man.
And you know, some of us were private people before. That all of a sudden, you know, you want to fight people in YouTube comments that you don't even know, you know, because the thing is, you put it out there. And so now you care what people think about you and the decisions that you do. You feel like you possibly in the inside think you can move forward on certain things, but because you're worried about the perception that people have of you, that's a struggle with, especially with social media being the way that it is. Like, I gotta sit in that sometime. Like, that's a thing.
I mean, we can sit there and be like, I don't care what people think you do. Everybody has a degree of caring, right? Even those who are not on social media, they care. Yeah. They care enough not to put themselves on social media.
They sure do.
They know themselves probably enough to say, I can't handle what happens on social media. But everyone cares at some degree. I don't know what degree. Some people care more but everybody cares what other people think.
And I know we've been talking about a lot, you know, we talked about relationship, we talked about marriages, we talked about losing trust, forgiving, but especially we're in the room, it's majority women, and a lot of entrepreneurs that I see in the room are, and not just entrepreneurs, just in life, what I've seen, and just, I was looking at D'Angela and she triggered this. She said when she was referencing what's her self-care routine, and she stated that it was therapy.
I was so happy when she said that.
I bet you where I looked at you. I was like, look at
hallelujah.
Yes. And so the fact that it was therapy, and now I can see her in the way that I've always seen her, but she couldn't see herself. And so when we talk about giving the best of us and creating legacies and building legacies, that permission part, that forgiving, sometimes it's not the other person, it's ourselves. So what are your thoughts on unleashing all that we have going on in order to unlock the other side and the better side of us?
I feel that we expect too much of ourselves and other people, and I'm just going to be honest. You can agree or disagree. I think in this generation, we live in a fast generation. We have access to too much. We are data overloaded. We have too much information too fast, and we're expected to be able to keep up with it. And I feel like that part is why we have a hard time self-caring and focusing on ourselves, because we are made to focus on everyone, everything. Like, our humans are not made to know what's going on the other side of the world that fast.
Yeah.
We're not made. There is a study done. We are made to live in communities of about 150, 200 people.
A little tribal.
A tribe. And that's it. And it will get information. We'll get it slowly, written on horseback or by a bird or something. I don't know. But we're not made to live in the way we're living right now. So that's why people are saying it's an epidemic of mental health, stress is. Black women have the highest heart disease rate in the United States. That's not on accident. You know, when it comes to relationships, we expect what a whole village used to provide from one person. We used to have a village, a hunter, a gatherer, a place that took care of babies, that birthed. Everybody had roles, right? And that's why they said it takes a village. That's where that came from. It takes a village. But now we expect it from one human being for the rest of our lives, and we live longer. That's impossible. We live in an impossible space. There is no way. That's why when Chelsea was saying, was it Chelsea or one of y'all were talking about balance, and you said, I don't want to say, no, you said, I don't want to, because there's no such thing. We are overloaded. It's too much information. And even when we try to unplug, I'm in a space right now in my life where I'm unplugging from a couple of things. And even then, I still feel overwhelmed. Like it is too much information. So to care for yourself is honestly to remove yourself, not isolate, right? I would say remove yourself from away from that core, that support system we were talking about earlier, right? Stick there and then see how much you can handle. I'm not sure if I'm even answering your question, but this is where it led me to.
I hate questions. I like conversations because sometimes the spirit just moves you.
Right.
Okay. It moves you to that place where, you're, hey girl, it just takes you there. And when we have these situations, I think a lot of people, man, when you broke that, I was over here like, ooh, girl, that just did it for me, because people expect a lot out of people.
Period.
I see so many people constantly let down by someone's action, but it was, you put that expectation, they put that expectation on them and allowed yourself to, I think that's one, I'm really good with people. Like I can interact with a lot of different people. And the thing is, I don't expect anything out of them, but who they are.
Right.
Like that.
Let people show you who they are.
Show who they are. And they said, somebody be like, so-and-so was telling my business. Like they tell their own business. Why you think they was going to not tell yours? Like that's what they do. Like, and you surprised? Like, why are we, what is the surprise? It was just like so-and-so, they did, it's like, that's their character. That's who they are. Just expect them to be who they are and just experience them for, in that space for what you all are.
And we're not letting people show us who they are.
They are doing it.
Like the fact that
they are doing it.
The thing is that like so there's this therapist, her name is Esther Perel. I don't know if you know her, but she says like the dynamic, the complex dynamic that we request of other people. It's like, I want a man that's spontaneous, but you also want a man that's predictable. I want a lover, but I also want a friend. I want someone who is handsome, but not too handsome. I want somebody who makes a lot of money, but I also want him to spend quality time with me. I want a woman that is a mother and very caring and nurturing, but she needs to, provide as well. Like you want these two different
confused right now.
But think about it. I'm pretty sure all of y'all was like, yeah, I want all that. I want all of that. And we're expecting that from our spouse, our relationship. I mean, doesn't that sound like I'm setting you up?
Yeah, it sounds like a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's absolutely a trap. Well, so how do we get untrapped? And this word, no, seriously, how, setting the expectations of how we navigate this place called life. Like what are some tips for channeling out the noise in the world so we can focus on what's important and what I consider as important? I know we talked about being mamas. We talked about being wives. We talked about being entrepreneurs in our businesses. We talked about being daughters and mothers. I'm talking about me. Like, I don't believe that if we're not, I'm not going to say good, if we're not good, we can't be there for anybody else if we're not right with ourselves.
Right.
So what does self-care really look like? What does self-care look like? Like everybody talks about, every time I hear self-care, like is it just what make you happy in that moment? Like
and I think everybody you've had on this show so far has been giving all of us little nuggets of what self-care is, right? She said therapy, so I'm gonna say it first. Go D'Angelo.
You got a friend.
That's
in her.
Right. She said therapy. Everybody needs therapy. The rule is do not go to therapy when things are at a boil. You go when it is at a simmer. Okay? It is a tool in your toolbox. Okay? You don't want to go and things are on fire and you expect me to extinguish the fire. But not only do you want me to do that for you, you want me to do it fast. Right? Like, how long am I going to have to come here? I never tell people because I don't know. So therapy, of course, because you need guidance. God did not have us here to be alone. Okay. I am a Christian woman, so I am a sex therapist and I am a Christian woman. God did not intend us to be alone. We are supposed to have our support systems and our community and fellowship. Okay, you guys talked about support systems. I don't know what I would be or who I would be if I did not have my support system. My husband, we left, we wanted to be independent. We bought a house somewhere and it was away from our family. And that was not smart. So we moved literally to the side of town where my mama was, his mama was, where my cousins were. And it wasn't the best part of town. We found the best of that part and we moved there because we needed to be close to my mom and his mom. And we needed that. I don't care. She could annoy me. She could call me. But guess what? If she watches my kids, she also cooks me a meal. It's nice, that I'm a first generation American. So one thing is my mom is going to cook and I always appreciate it. So there is a beauty in that. If you don't have family, you make your family, you make your circles. The whole no new friends thing is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I love new friends. You just have to embrace who they are and realize they're not going to be the friend that knows like your childhood hurt. That's okay. You don't need to, right? So I think your community is part of your self-care. Now, does your community need to know all your business? No. They don't. That's what you got a therapy for. Okay. And then maybe that one really good best friend, but you need support systems. When self-care started coming out, everybody was like, go get your hair done, your nails done, go get a manicure, a facial. That's cute, but that costs money. And that takes up a lot of time. Self-care is something that you incorporate in your life on a daily basis, right? You incorporate boundaries. That's the big thing that people talk about now.
Boundaries.
So
that was a good one. I was waiting on that one.
Right? So it's not something that you have to think about. And boundaries is not just saying no. Boundaries is also saying yes. Can I help you with hey, girl, you want me to pick this up while you do this? Yes. Hey, you know what? I could call that person for you. Yes. Lexi, me and her were on an event together for Jack and Jill. I don't know what I would have done without her because I didn't know what I was doing. She was like, you want me to do this? Yes, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think that is how you also create boundaries, is also saying yes. It's not just no. Okay, you can say no. Boundaries is how you move too. So there's a lot of ways to create boundaries. That's part of self-care as well. I mean, I feel like I could go on and on. Your spiritual journey, if you are a believer in whatever it is that you believe. Okay. I know what I am. You know what you are. Hold tight into that, lean into it, right? If you're Buddhist, if you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever you believe, lean into it, right? Because it helps you stay connected to God, your God, and it helps you stay connected to yourself. You have to be connected to yourself to connect with God as well. And if you don't know how to connect with yourself, you ask him, so those are a few things that I would say.
And being a Christian woman, and I like that you say that, and we talk about the institution of marriage, and we talk about some, and I can talk about this with you because you are a Christian, the submissiveness that comes with the standards of relationship. Mm-hmm. Like I come from a very matriarchal, dominated household. Mm-hmm. So that submissiveness that's supposed to come with being a wife, it's hard. It's a little challenging.
I came from that too.
Okay. Yes. Like my papa just worked. He just went to work and brought the money home, and granny did what needed to happen. She ran the household. And then my husband was like, I'm the man, I run the household. I'm like, what? And so, why are you shaking your head back there? Because that's the truth. So
you better remember.
So what? Yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm glad you know. So, but what are some tips? We talked about, personally. Now, when it comes to a relationship, how do we maintain the intimacy in our relationship and grow that? Because if we do want to be married, some people don't want to be married and they don't want to have kids. Hey, yeah. It's like, she's like, I don't want it. Mm-hmm. Leave it alone. But if that's something that we pursue, and if that's something that we want, how do we reconnect with our spouses from intimacy, whether it's sex or not, especially because these kids, I be trying to rub on them and touch on them,
Mhm.
but then the little one be sitting in my bed caressing my boobie.
He wants that
And
milk.
well, he's 2.5 now.
30 months.
It's no more milk. Yeah, he's 30. But he's in the bed. He's in the. We work all day. Entrepreneur. My husband still works a 9 to 5. A lot of people, we're just juggling so much in our
Yes.
day to day. We have children. We have extracurricular. Jack and Jill. And that take up. Hallelujah.
Mhm.
Yes. But anyways, yes, I love my mothers and the organization and the thrust. But how do we maintain intimacy and keep that connection with our spouses as we grow?
Talk about it. And here's the thing. We talk about everything. I could talk about my menstrual cramps. We talk about our finances. We could talk about taxes. We could talk about everything.
I don't want to talk about
But we don't talk about sex. We don't talk about what I like, what I don't like in sex. Because culturally, you're just not supposed to. You're a lady, right?
No, we don't talk
And
about
for men, talking about it, it's more about you just need to do it, right? And these are not things that are singular to just like you. This is just culturally, this is how we were taught. Women, we were taught, close your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You save yourself from marriage, but somehow you're supposed to get married and blow your husband's brains out and make sure he don't cheat on you and leave you if you don't give him enough sex. But my whole life, you told me not to have sex. My whole life, you told me to keep my legs closed. Your whole life, you shamed me. You shamed women who did that. But now I'm supposed to be married and I'm supposed to be a freak in the sheets.
Don't let them.
How's that? How does that work
They
exactly?
Get the milk for free. What was that one?
Right. How does that work exactly? So what happens is we have that as women, we have that in our mind. Even if you didn't save yourself technically, that's still buried in our mind, right? Then you get married and you expect your husband to just know how to please you. But he doesn't know your body the way you know your body. But I'm mad because he's not doing this. Well, how does he know to do it?
Did you tell him?
Did you talk to him? So I think the first thing we need to do is learn how to talk about sex in a relationship. I usually tell couples, like, there's books out there, little work. I know it sounds corny, but it helps, right? There's little workbooks that you can do together and it just elicits conversations. And you'll be surprised at what you discover. Even ask your mate, tell me about your first kiss. I bet a lot of you never even asked your partner, tell me about your first, what was it like? Not just who was it with or how old were you? What was that like for you? Right? And realize it got nothing to do with you, so don't get jealous. But, like, I was 13, it was, whatever. But asking certain questions elicit the conversation. It makes you comfortable. It makes you feel free to say, I really enjoy when we do this. I would like to try this. Listen to how I said that. I didn't say, I don't like when you do this. Don't do that again. Unless it hurts. We're talking about something else. The way you talk in sexual spaces, I really enjoyed blank. I would really like if we try blank. Or what if we do blank? What that does is your husband, if you tell your husband that, I want to try, he's going to do it. Am I right? You know why? Because all you're telling him is that there is an opportunity for us to get in bed. I will be more than happy to do that for you. But insulting someone, making them feel shameful for something, right? The older we get, things happen in our body, men and women. Things happen. You don't want to shame the other person. Now, if you are in a space where you guys already have been shaming one another, you guys already have issues in the bedroom, that's when I would suggest, like, go to a therapist, a sex therapist. The reason a sex therapist is a little bit different is not everyone who says they're a sex therapist is a certified sex therapist. Okay. I'm a certified sex therapist. So make sure if you're looking for a sex therapist, you look for a certified sex therapist. Why is that important? We have to go through rigorous training and to know everything. I learned so much just doing my training. Okay. And
let me get my mind out the gutter.
You can put it in the gutter though. That's fine too.
She said rigorous sex training.
Not physically.
I mean,
you do that in your personal life.
I'm sorry.
I got rigorous. No.
Yes, rigorous.
So why is that important? Because it's not that I'm going to have you sitting there doing positions in the office like the movies make you do. You know, it's more about like, okay, let's talk about it.
That was amazing.
That was kind of long. I'm sorry.
No, it was
I got 23
great.
seconds.
Yes, it was great, and I was glad that you brought that up because, especially like asking about your first kiss, because one of my friends, I know her and her husband are struggling with intimacy because her first kiss was traumatic, and so it's affecting. So asking those things really unlocks the communication,
Yeah.
and that's what it sounds like. It all comes down to communication,
Yeah.
and just being able to have the conversation and talking through what those things look like. And communication is self-care. But that was amazing. But I have got my my little time capsule question, my little legacy question.
Okay.
What? Because it was too much. They're gonna have some questions, but she might have to leave. So don't be chasing her out of here, people. But what you do, I feel like it's a calling. I feel like it's a ministry because therapy is such an amazing tool and resource that we should use. If we know y'all got pastors and y'all got people at church, but that's one thing I coach you there is go talk to the pastor. You can do that too, but sometimes you might need a little extra help, and that's where Dr. Angela comes in. So what you're doing as a ministry, I think it serves a role in our community, in our families, in our legacy. So what is the legacy that you want to leave? Even it can just be in a mother, it could be your profession, but what do you want to leave behind?
I've always said I just want to leave something for the next generation. Like I said earlier, I'm a first generation American. My family's from the Caribbean, Haiti, Cuba. And I just want to leave for even the generation that is still here, like you can do it. Whatever it is that you want to do. I don't expect you to do what I'm doing. I just want you to know that you can do it, whatever it is that you're doing. I recently was asked a question. It was like from a game, and it said, if you got to go to some point in your future, where would you want to go to see how it would be? Like would you want to go 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And I said, I would actually like to go beyond my own life, right? Like after I'm gone, I want to see 2-3 generations. I want to see my grandchildren's grandchildren. And I want to see how maybe what I did had a lasting impact, or if it had an impact at all, so I can know what to do differently here. So my legacy, I want to try to create a legacy that goes beyond my own life, that goes beyond my children's lives. And I would love to be the person that when they do their little family tree, they could be like, it started around this time,
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that was amazing for so many reasons. But I think you touched me. I was in here like taking notes in my head, like I need to schedule something serious. But no, thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedication to your craft and your ministry. Thank you. We give her a round of applause. But they need to find out, they want to know, how can they find you? Where do they book? How do they find you on social media? Can you please share that with them?
So the easiest way, is on Instagram. It's Dr. Angela Jones, Dr. Angela Jones. And then just click the links and I'll have my website and everything on there. Just send me an email. I even have my mobile number on there if you want to send me a text message. Hey, I met you at Legacy in Bloom, or I watched you on Legacy in Bloom. And I try to be as available and personable as possible. And that's, I'm not hard to contact. I'm pretty easy to find. So I think Instagram's a good place. It's like a catch-all place.
Well, that is amazing. We're officially out of time, but if she is as gracious as she has been on this segment, and if anyone had any questions, she may have an opportunity to ask. Anyone with any questions? Yes.
We have the same shirt, so.
Oh, y'all cute.
We like Banana Republic.
Don't we all?
Dr. Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm like Jermisha. I'm a woman of a particular age.
Yes, you look good, girl.
We're blooming.
Good. Yes.
I'm blooming too. I was just having a hot flashback.
I was like, we're blooming, we're hot, we're hormonal.
Yes.
Where your fans at? But we're not talking about
right.
That.
Me fanning. I was
Here's where I'm struggling. See, I want to drop it like it's hot and throw it in the circle for my man, right? And at the top of the day, I'm like, oh, it's on. So I sent the TikTok. I sent it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but by the end of the day, I couldn't make good on the
You can't make good on your promise.
Because either hormonally or the day,
You're tired.
I am tired,
Yes,
but
you
I'm
are.
trying not to be tired.
That's the truth.
Anybody feeling like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Amen.
I want to throw it in a circle. I'm
Mhm.
serious. I
Mhm.
love this man. You know, I love when we connect, but if something happens from that morning to that, I can't execute and follow through. And he's so nice.
Well, that's good.
He's so nice.
The fact that you said that morning, I could go after a shower, then go to
Right. And he's so gracious and be like, okay, babe.
Oh,
But I'm trying to,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
So you need to know what cycle in life you're in.
I love
that was so gracious.
Okay. Know yourself. Okay. That means that the early daytime is your time. And you need to capitalize on that a little bit more. Okay. So if you like to throw it in a circle, throw it in a circle at 7:00 in the morning. He will wake up. Okay. I trust me. You don't have to say, I don't know if he wants to. Just wake him up and throw it in a circle. If you guys don't work far from each other, have lunch dates. You know, that'll be nice to do. Lunch date, wink, lunch date. Okay. Have fun, right? If at nighttime you're noticing you are completely drained, but you would prefer to do it sometimes at nighttime, then you need to ask yourself, okay, what during the day is really taking away from my nighttime? That means you're not spreading your energy out well, right? You're putting all your energy on the front end of your day and you're leaving nothing on the back end. So that means you probably need to redistribute your day a little bit. What things during the day I can actually do probably a little bit later on at night or vice versa. Maybe you need to rethink how you're working your day. Okay. And so those are some of the things. Our bodies do change, right? As you get older, your vaginal canal, the skin or the membrane thins out, and that means you don't get as lubricated or you can't stay as lubricated as you would like to. So you may wonder, like, am I even aroused? You're aroused. It's just your body's different. Always have lubrication. Like, don't be ashamed of the fact that you just automatically put it in your repertoire. It's automatic. Okay. For men, the blood flow from the heart to the penis, it changes. They can't help it. It's the same thing we can't help, right? Sometimes they can get erect, but maybe they can't get erect, you know, and they have to understand that too. They need to take care of their heart health and make sure that they're going to a urologist and not being forced to go to the doctor every few years. You need to make sure your blood flow is going, because an erection is all about blood flow. Same thing for women. It's all about blood flow, you know, so staying healthy, working out. I know this is generic, but it's very true. The healthier we are, the healthier our sex is, the better our sex is. I'm not talking about, you don't need a 6-pack, right? You don't need to have like cut up and a flat belly. You can have a fupa and begin it on, you know, but you have to feel more energetic, you know, stretching in the morning. That's really important for anybody over 35. Like 10 minutes of stretching in the morning, it really helps. So these things that you're always hearing about, if it's going to help your life, it's going to help your sex life. Yes.
Question in the back. The gentleman with the MAGA hat on in the back.
Oh,
stop it.
Don't do that.
That's a negative. So I kind of wanted to. So it's kind of a question, but an answer to your question as well. All right.
I love it.
So you ever been to the gym, like not want to go to the gym, and like
All
I'm
the
like
time, I
dying
don't
not to go
wanna
to
go.
the gym, but you push through, and then after you finish that workout, it's like, damn, I feel good. Sometimes you got to push through. You might not feel it, but you got to push through. And at the end of it, you're gonna be happy you did it.
Let me make it sound better for you ladies, okay? But he's right. So there's I know we're out of time, but the sex cycle for men and women are different. Okay. Men, when they are aroused, it's obvious, right? For us, it's not so obvious. A lot of women, and this is statistically sound, I'm not making this up. I always try to do my research. Women, sometimes you're already in a sex act before you realize you were even horny. Have you ever you don't have to raise your hand. Have you ever been already doing something and you realize, oh, you know, this is actually pretty nice. And then you finish on out. the problem is that we don't have the same sexual response as a man. As soon as they're ready, they're ready. You can see it. You can see it through their pants, you know? But for us, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm so lubricated. I don't know what to do with myself. Sometimes that's why we have to get warmed up a little bit. And this is something men need to know too. Women take a little while to warm up. That doesn't mean that they're not aroused, but they do need a little more sometimes on the front end. And sometimes that doesn't mean a lot more time. It could be just something small, right? And then while you're in it, women were like, all right, I think I did. All right. And that's kind of what he's talking about. Like, you didn't want to go to the gym, but you went ahead and pushed on through. And while you're there, you're like, you know what? I'm happy I came here. That's what you're saying, right? See?
You happy you came here?
I probably should have been on the segment with y'all, you know.
But we're all happy you all came here. I'm so sorry. I'm so corny. This is me in real life. I'm sorry.
I like it.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for being a great guest on our stage. Thank you.
No problem.
I love your input. It's so valuable. I hope to put some things in. Anyway, sorry guys. I forgot y'all were still here.
She wants to go to the gym later.
Yes, to the gym.
Hey, get the kids out of the bed too.
Yeah.
That's another one.
All righty.
We have that on that note.
Episode 3. Okay, next episode. All righty. Yes. Well, thank y'all so much for your input. What you done started? You done started some shit.
Started some stuff.
Yeah, you done started some stuff.
Sorry,
yes.
I'm sorry.
With the 30-month-old. Yes. Well, thank y'all so much. This was amazing. I want to thank you all for my wonderful guests. I could not have done this without you all. And this was great. Like, I want to do this at Trellis. I'm over.
As long as you pay for my spa treatment, I'm ready. Let's go.
Girl, let me tell you, I will buy friends at spa. Just come on. Well, thank you. This has been amazing. I appreciate you so much.